zero people. Since there's only zero people, I'll just sit here silently until maybe people show up and maybe they don't. If they don't, I can just sit here in silence forever. Yeah. It's pretty early, even for the dog walkers. Oh, wow. Still zero. I don't want to talk to myself forever. For real. Excuse me. 1 second. Wow. Frog right in the throat. Hello. Hi, 3 people. Hello. 1 thumbs up and 3 people. That's not bad. It's not bad. Hi, 7 people. So people are starting to pop in. What's up, Simon Forsyth? Am I high right now? Well, I smoked a little pot. I mean, does that count? I do smoke pot. That that's going to be part of one of the things I wanted to talk about today. Actually, is pot. I mean, how can you not talk about weed, right, man? Have you ever talked about weed to yourself in front of a camera in the morning? On weed, man. Yeah, at least I'm honest. Oh shit, I just totally swiped. Like, what the fuck? I'm sorry. Let me. Now I'm still alive. Honest about it. Well, I mean, pot's legal in so many states now. You kind of, and they federally decriminalized it too, right? Can y'all hear me okay? I reckon you probably do. This headset's like, I need a new headset. It's like, well, you can see it wants to fall off my head and it makes a terrible noise. But no, I mean, they federally decriminalized it. So, like, well, I know people because I'm in South Carolina, as also known as South Kakalaka. Went downhill. What happened? Yeah, what's up, lane handling? Yeah, too many. Well, that's sidetrack stuff, man. Um, I mean, I'm still me. I'm still the same person, uphills and downhills. I mean, I'm 41, man. So I've been up and down a lot of hills. I mean, I've been half-assed rich and full on fully homeless and mediocre, and I mean, I've been up and down a lot of hills over time, man. I don't like to give away my age yet, like that, but yeah, there you go. But no, really, um, the sort of the social view on things like pot versus other things like, say, tobacco. That's always a good example because it, yeah, I hear you, Simon. Um, how can a committee of people that you've never met dictate which a committee of people you've never met dictate um, which types of plants are legal for you to consume by smoking it and not legal for you to consume by smoking it? Like, and that committee for pot was really a committee of people set up in response to the DuPont company, as far as I can tell, the manufacturers of nylon, right? Because um, hemp was used for all kinds of things, especially really high quality rope that was a direct competitor for what DuPont was trying to replace with the invention of nylon. And it was part of their unconventional marketing campaign, let's say, to make hemp illegal. And they really blackballed the Vatos in that, from what I can gather, because the Vatos were the ones bringing it in by the boatloads, along with cocaine and heroin and everything else too. But at that point in time, with the whole reefer madness thing and they illegalized pot, if I'm not mistaken, you could still at that point order heroin in the mail and it was perfectly legal. Okay. So that's crazy. That's absolutely insane because first of all, hemp has so many uses. I mean, you can make, hey, Alora Skies, hello. Uh, you can make anything out of hemp, anything, even fuel, man. I mean, you can make everything from rope to um, like there's a certain type of, I'm looking for the word, almost like a ceramic type stuff with it that's really good, man. Like you can make soap and oil and candles and shoes, like just you can make pretty much fucking everything out of hemp. And so DuPont wanted to synthesize and profit off of, and not to mention poison the world at the same time, but profit off of synthetic stuff that could be naturally made with namely hemp. And I'm sure the fact that you can make fuel out of hemp too had a lot to do with this too. But so Prohibition, and look, I've even got it wrote down here. It's funny, like the first thing that the dude asked me on here, I forgot his name, I think Ian, is, "Are you high right now?" Yeah, I had a roach. I got a couple roaches, man, and I put it in my pipe and smoked it because that's all I've got, man. I'm broke. I'm living in the hotel. That's the first two things I've got is hotel trap and Prohibition. That's the first two things I wrote down to talk about. And really they go hand in hand, but Prohibition, first of all, is a scam. Hey, Junos. But Prohibition's a scam, man. It always has been because, I mean, look at the prohibition of booze. This is like right after the Roaring '20s, right? Or when was Prohibition? It was in the '20s, right? In the Roaring '20s, isn't that what they called it? I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe my dates are wrong. I'm not that good with numbers, but everybody loved booze, man. And a lot of them was smoking pot too. Remember the flappers? Yeah, the flappers, man. They were smoking pot back then too. It's not a new thing, but they chose to make booze illegal first. They did that first, right? And they tried to do that overnight, and they did these huge PR campaigns and like tried to make it socially unacceptable to be a boozer, right? And like nobody loves a drunk. I get it. Nobody loves a drunk, but still, like everybody was on the sauce. I mean, not everybody, but everybody, right? And so what happened is, of course, overnight they created the conditions where there was a big black market for booze, because if there's a demand for something like booze that everybody loves, it doesn't matter what it is. Say it's coffee. I mean, okay, fine, we could apply that to coffee, but to do that overnight, it creates a black market because there's a demand for that. So, law-abiding citizens, by definition, don't break the law. So if you continue to run booze or coffee during coffee prohibition, then you're instantly a criminal. And you're also competing with actual criminals who are like toting guns and stuff like the mafia was. But, this raises the question, like the government, the mind control, government means mind control, right? So the mind control knows if you prohibit something like booze or coffee, then the mafia is going to start running it. And in fact, my grandfather and his 5 other brothers, who most of them ended up being decorated war heroes, and my grandfather retired as a lieutenant colonel and went on to do other things in the Pentagon later. But him and his brothers were running booze, man. This is a family of Greeks in Wyoming. Okay? Yeah, they were running booze, man. Absolutely they were. Okay? Yeah, they were. And so they were criminals by definition. And I don't know too much about that, but I know that it's true they weren't the only ones. Everybody was doing it. That's where the money was, man. Right? But so the profits that were made by the mafia, because of course the mafia would corner those markets and make sure that Joe Blow that was running moonshine might catch a flat tire and catch a bad one, right? And would stop, or at least wouldn't be openly running booze. But so this made a lot of money, or allegedly made a lot of money for the mafia. And also this gave a perfect excuse for the feds to beef up their alphabet agency budgets and their manpower and their stranglehold on our resources. Really, booze is a resource. Again, it's supply and demand. If there's a demand for it and people want it, that's a resource. People use it up, and there's profit in it. Okay. And so the mafia is already going to be doing that's organized crime. That's what they do. They find niche markets that need to be filled that aren't technically legal. And sometimes the stuff they do is technically legal, and sometimes it's gray area, but you know, criminals are going to be the ones that fill those roles, and the government's going to be the one that swoops in to save the day from the criminals that they, by the way, fucking created, right? Of course they did. Yeah. So, hotel trap. So let's go down the list here. So hotel trap has a lot to do with that. Because like, look at Denver, man. Like, go to Denver where you can just go over the counter and get a big bag of great pot for street prices. I mean, you're still paying street prices, but it's legit, and you know what you're getting. And they got 500 different kinds, and the smell hits you in the face in the door, on the way in the door. But their housing market is booming. And from what I gather, their like homeless programs are a lot better than they are most places, which is practically non-existent. Like, good luck in most cities, man, that I've been in. I've never been homeless in Denver though. So guys, way too fucking cold there. I guess I mean, you don't want to be homeless in Denver in the winter, right? So I guess maybe that has a lot to do with that too. But the hotel trap's a real thing. It's not that funny, man. I've been stuck in, first of all, I've never owned a piece of property in my life. Never. Never owned shit, okay? Except the clothes on my back. And when you rent, if you're a normal person that ain't fucking loaded with money, eventually, it's the old Murphy's Law. On a long enough time period, eventually anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And if you're living paycheck to paycheck, living month to month, eventually something's gonna fucking happen to where you're gonna lose everything, and maybe even get stuck in a hotel, especially if you go to jail and you lose you just lose your fucking ass, man. You lose your ass. And so a hotel, or like maybe even extended stay, something like that, you don't need a lot of money up front to get in, right? But you pay out the ass either by the day or by the week. It's super expensive, like astronomically expensive, like more than most mortgages on a really nice 3-bedroom, way more. Okay, but again, it's that upfront cost which prevents a lot of people. And I know people that were like legit retired and spent all their fucking money on medical bills for people that they love that actually are dead now, but the medical fucking vampires got all their money, and decent people wind up in hotel trap. It's not funny, man. It's not. And see, I've worked subcontracted for people that were complete fucking assholes that one guy owned 46 houses and told me about it 10 times in the one conversation I met him. Never forget this fucking guy. And they're a dime a dozen. They're a dime a dozen. They really are. This guy owned 46 houses, and he lived in 2 or 3 of them, depending on how he felt that day or whatever. I guess he vacations or whatever. But 43 of them sit empty, or maybe like 40 of them sit empty, something like that, because he doesn't want to sell them until the market's just right, and that's his prerogative, fine, and he won't rent them out. Okay, so that's a problem too. But I got sidetracked, man. Like, and that's a fucking asshole too, by the way. I mean, whatever. But you got decent people that spend all their money on medical bills. That's a legit thing. Like, if you don't have the best insurance or pre-existing conditions, and you want your loved one to live, the medical vampires are going to get your money, dude. And so if, let's say, you draw a check every month that might barely cover hotel trap, you might have to side hustle to keep the hotel trap on SSI. Like, really, you will. Because most people on SSI only get like $800 a month at the most, like something like that. Maybe if you've been on it longer, if you've got full disability, you might draw 2 checks or something. And then you might can swing hotel trap. But what Wood Springs did to me, dude, see, hotel trap's a whole thing too, because see, they get lobbyists to go to lawmakers to write special laws for hotels because, I mean, I guess sure they had reasons to do that, but the thing is, once you've lived in a place for a certain amount of time, like most states, it's 90 days, there's laws on the books that go back way back before the Constitution was even a thing, but it's like home domicile laws. Once you live at a place and establish residency there, they're supposed to have to go through legal channels to throw you out. But Hotel Trap don't fucking give a fuck about legal channels because they've got lobbyists doing their thing for them. Okay. So what Wood Springs did to me was the woman actually lied to the police on me and said that I hadn't paid in a month. And I had paper receipts. But because she lied to them and signed a trespass warrant on me, they wouldn't even give me 5 minutes to pack my shit and go. And I told her, fuck you, I've been paying rent here $400 plus a week, which is over $1,600 a month just for rent, not to mention extra shit that they charge you for other things, like your dog and like the internet, if you want to use their Wi-Fi at a decent speed as opposed to the half-ass thing they got for free, which doesn't work worth a shit. She lied to the police and said I was past due when I had a receipt on me that said I wasn't even due until Tuesday. I had just paid them Tuesday, and this was on a Sunday night. But so she told that to the police, and when they ran my name, I had a warrant, which I didn't know about. So that was when I went to jail the other week. But Wood Springs also was fucking me sideways with no grease too, man. So after 90 days there, you get a free week, which I got. But they're also supposed to give you a discount of about 30% after that, which I never got. And they were charging me full price for 6 months after that, so they had been scamming me, dude. They had been scamming me for like $100 a week, maybe a little more than that, for 6 months. And see, I didn't know that until way after I found that out while I was in jail that I was supposed to get that rate. Because one of my neighbors that I didn't know, but I knew his old lady, he had been paying that rate for a while. He had been there about as long as I had. And so when I found that out, some things clicked. Because, see, they had been trying to run me off because I guess they had been hustling my card and they wanted me fucking gone because, see, I had already opened a Federal Trade Commission case on their ass and they were getting audited. They wanted me fucking gone, dude. And so they were doing tactics like they were saying I was due when my rent wasn't even due Saturday. They were trying to kick me out on like Wednesdays and stuff. It was crazy, dude. It was fucking crazy. So Hotel Trap, that's a real thing, and it's got teeth. And it's a fucking meat grinder. It really is. It's a fucking meat grinder. We touched on Prohibition, but so how does Prohibition create poverty? Well, again, look at Denver, and maybe not just because it's cold. I know Denver's nice in the summer; it gets hot. But look at the jobs and the economy and the tax revenue. That's an oxymoron, isn't it? Tax revenue, so taking money out of the lifeblood of the economy and giving it to the fucking leeches. That's revenue? Okay. But really, okay, so in Denver, they've got good roads too. So maybe it's not as leechy there as it is some places, because maybe their voters are a little bit more high on pot and they've got their third eye not so fucking calcified as the rest of some of these fuckers. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to cuss like a sailor, but dude. But Prohibition creates poverty for a number of reasons, man. Because, like, look at a heroin addict. And I don't do heroin. I've done heroin. I have. I'm not going to lie. I've done it. I've fucked with it. But I'm off of it. I've been off of it. I went through buprenorphine, which is Subutex or Suboxone. I've been through methadone. I've kicked them both. Honestly, I'd rather kick heroin than those, because those take months to go through. Heroin, you're sick as fuck. Like, just deathly sick for like, I don't know, maybe a week. But not on those not the doctor prescribed things. They take months. I put a roach in a bowl, dude. I'm not that high, bro. They just asked me again in the comments. I'm not that high. That's the answer. I can see the comments going by, but it goes so fast. I'm sorry. But look at a heroin addict. A heroin addict will spend their whole day trying to get something that grows infinitely for free on a plant that you can grow fucking anywhere. Because that plant's illegal by the same committee that says marijuana is illegal. The same people, but the same committee says coffee's legal and tobacco's legal. Okay, I'll be honest with you, man. It's like this. If you've never been a cigarette smoker, then you don't know. But if you've been a cigarette smoker, just think back to when you first started smoking cigarettes. After you got used to it and you could smoke a cigarette, you get fucking high off a cigarette. And I don't just mean a little buzz. I'm talking like full on out of body, like a great fucking high. That wears off after a while, just like anything else, and you don't get that high. And you're chasing that dragon. And making R.J. Reynolds or whatever the other big tobacco guys are rich as hell because you're chasing that dragon. But, that's your choice. But my point is, if you've never done cocaine freebase, it's the same high. It's practically the same high. I'm talking about a cigarette that you can buy in a pack at the store and freebase cocaine. Practically the same high. It truly is. It's not that different. Very much the same. But a heroin addict will spend their entire day, a lot of times breaking the law, trying to get money to get something that grows for free, infinitely, and gives off seed of its own kind to reproduce. So it's literally, it's infinite. It's free and infinite. Okay? That's crazy. So you talk about alcohol prohibition. The government did that, and they realized, well, we can make money off prohibition, because when you create a criminal underground overnight for something that a lot of people really need, painkillers, and that's no joke. And really, it's only that person's prerogative. I mean, so it's legal to become morbidly obese, and I'm like, no offense to the morbidly obese people, but that's legal. And you can kill yourself with Twinkies. You can go fucking crazy with Twinkies, and there's absolutely no cost on society for morbidly obese people, is there? Well, actually, yeah, there is. Actually, and I'm sorry, this thing is loud, but it's falling off my fucking head, man. I'm sorry. But yeah, there is a cause for that. There is a societal cause for that, because morbidly obese people automatically get disability. They do. And morbid obesity is really, people are sort of funneled into that by our culture, aren't they? In a way, because you can go to McDonald's and, well, not so much McDonald's, they're fucking expensive, but maybe Burger King, which I'm not dogging on Burger King, but you can fill up on just garbage food for pretty cheap. Go try to get the ingredients for a decent salad at the grocery store anymore, man. Like, it's crazy. But so, like, this committee of people has no right. They don't have the right. I never gave them authority over my life to say that they can put me in jail like a fucking animal and make me endure cruel and unusual punishment because I had the wrong kind of salad in my fucking pocket. I never gave that committee the authority over me to make that decision. I never signed on for that. And really, it's so arbitrary, because we now know that, so pot was a Schedule I narcotic, just as bad as cocaine and heroin, which is, we all know that's bullshit, because the definition of a Schedule I is something that is highly addictive and there's no medical benefit for it, or the potential to be highly addictive with no medical benefit, which we now is just, we know that's absolute bullshit, because there's like 1,000,006 different medical benefits for pot, not to mention the myriad practical uses for hemp. And so that's why they federally decriminalized it. People can truck hemp over state lines, and good luck differentiating between hemp and pot, because you'd have to fucking test every square inch of that truck. So So, it's practically legal. And really, even if it wasn't, I've been a torch toting pothead my whole life since it's been highly illegal. I grew up in Florida, man, in the 90s, where I went to jail one time when I was 16, kiddie jail, on Halloween. It's always on Halloween. My guitar got stolen a couple Halloweens ago. And yeah, I went to jail on Halloween. I think I was 15 or 16 because we just got done smoking a joint in the car. And like there was a little tiny chunk stuck to my pant leg. And we got pulled over. And somehow that fucking police officer saw it immediately. Little chunks stuck to my pant leg and took me to jail. It was like, it wasn't even, dude, it was like a tenth of a fucking half a gram or something. It was nothing. Just a crumb of pot. It was that dank, and so it was sticky, and it stuck to my leg, and went to jail for it. But yeah, I was arrested in a stinger operation in Florida when I was fucking 16 too. At school. While the last week, right before like it was during the week of right before final exams, I had to do one or two final exams, and then I didn't have to take the rest because as long as you had a certain GPA and you didn't skip X number of days, you didn't have to take the exam for that particular class. So I was about done with my junior year, and they came and arrested me from a long-term sting operation that I didn't do fucking anything. I really didn't. Oh shit, this thing straight fell off my head. I'm sorry. Hold on. Sorry, y'all. I didn't even do anything, and got expelled my junior year because of a sting operation at my high school. And that had to do with pot. That had to do with pot. I know people that did decades for pot. Decades in prison for pot, man. That's fucking crazy, dude. Yeah, a sting operation. So what happened was there was this chick that I didn't know, because I went to school, did my homework, and played my guitar when I got home, and drank beers and smoked pot sometimes, man. I had a fake ID that said I was 22 when I was 16, and it worked every time. Never failed, not once. But so the sting operation was, there was this chick that went to our high school that just sort of showed up in the middle of the year, but that happened a lot. It's Florida, it's a transient state for sure. And everybody thought this chick was a cop. Everybody did. And my sibling, my brother Sean, fucking sold to this bitch. Had already sold her 3 times. He had sold her an ounce of pot, some coke one time, and some acid or something. It was 3 different things. I think I'm pretty sure it was like weight, like an ounce of pot, a sheet of some acid, coke, something. I don't fucking know. It was 3 different times. And on the 4th time, like, I was curious about her because I had heard that there was a chick that everybody thought was a cop, and I wanted to know for myself. And my brother wanted me to ride with them. And I didn't even know this was her until I was in the car. And this chick, she drove a different car every day. She had the one I rode in, I think it was right before it was a 98 Mustang, I think. Maybe a 97. It was right before they did the body style change. I think it was a 97 Mustang. It was that weird body one. It was a 97 Mustang. And as soon as we started riding the car, I knew this bitch was a cop. Knew it, and I wanted to get out. Because she was like, okay, Sean, so if I give you $150, you're going to get me how much marijuana? And my brother's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And she was like, yes, Sean, if I give you, and really we were getting ounces for like 80, so I was like, God damn, he's really cutting that throat. But he was going to sell her an ounce for 150. And like the whole time she was recording the whole thing, obviously. And like the police have to get, or at least then, I guess, I don't know about so much about now with all the way that they've changed the laws, but they had to get you saying certain things on tape in order to get that warrant. But see, since he had already sold to her 3 times, he thought she was cool, but I knew this bitch was a cop. And anyway, so it happened, we went home and nothing happened. But then months later, they raided the entire school. This woman had been doing this to all the little jitterbug drug dealers who weren't really drug dealers, just jits in school flipping burgers or whatever. But so they arrested everyone in the school. Now they were actually not going to arrest me because when he went in, she was trying to talk to me about this shit, and I said, I don't even know what drugs is. I'm just riding with my brother because he didn't know you and you might be a stranger. I mean, I was 16, but I was dumb. I was dumb. I was a fucking idiot, and I didn't know nothing about no drugs, right? Nothing. So they weren't going to come get me, but what happened was my brother was not in school when they did the raid, but I was in fact in school when they did the raid. And when they found out he wasn't there, but he was indeed supposed to be there, they raided my house too. Okay, and at that time we were staying at the Landings Apartments on in Altamont Springs, right there by the school on 434 in the Landings. And me and my brother had to share a bedroom. We had 2 beds, but we had to share a bedroom. It was a 2-bedroom, and Pops lived in the 1 bedroom, we lived in the other. And mine was the water bed, and Sean's was the other bed. And so what happened was they came into my classroom with fucking guns and masks and everything and took me to the lunchroom where there was like 100 other people getting processed. And they started questioning me, and they wanted to know which bed in my bedroom was mine. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't know nothing. Like, what? Who cares? And they pressured it out of me that mine was the water bed and Sean's was the regular bed. I'm like, mine's the fucking water bed. Okay, fine. So what? Well, what had happened was I had a pill and some pot hidden under my water bed that I forgot about. It was an ecstasy pill, man. It was an ecstasy pill. But because I admitted that the water bed was mine, then they fucking arrested me for possession or something. Like, I think they charged me with possession. And I was still a minor at the time. But so like none of that stuck. Like I didn't even end up ultimately having to go to court, and it was all expunged because it was bullshit. And they like questioning minors without their parents present, even though I told them I wasn't going to talk to them, but they were badgering the shit out of me with like fucking like assault rifles and shit, man. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, so that was the thing. It's fucking crazy, man. Yeah, fucking crazy. Dime bag under the bed, gotta be careful, you get swatted. Yeah, fuck them special weapons and tactics, bro. I got them in another verse I'm writing, bro. So prohibition creates crime. Okay, so prohibition creates poverty, indeed, many ways. Yeah, hey, Chris Tover, you're welcome. Chris Toker. Prohibition also creates crime. We covered that. It also bolsters the federal government. So, like, really, prohibition was a plan by the federal government the whole time. They're not fucking idiots. They know how people tick. They know how to control large masses of people by pulling little strings, like making booze illegal or making coffee legal. What if they was to fuck around and take away coffee, dude? What if they were to do that? What if they were to arbitrarily say one day coffee's illegal? Well, guess what? What's his name? Jose Valdez, or whatever the fuck his name was on the mule. That man's getting rich, dude. And so are the feds, because now it's profitable to put decent, regular people, hardworking people with like families and everything, normal people, into prison for having pot. Why is my voice getting so high? Because I'm on crack. I'm sitting here invisibly smoking crack. That's why. I don't know. My blood pressure goes up, man. My blood pressure goes up and my voice goes up with my blood pressure. No, I'm not the most high. I just smoked a roach, bro. I'm just a little buzzed. I'm not even high, really. Not anymore. I'm fitting to be here in a minute when I get through these last 15 things I need to talk about. All right. So if prohibition creates poverty and prohibition creates crime, religion and sometimes promotes prohibition. Yeah, religion promotes prohibition because, see, if the committee of whoever these fucking weirdos are that say it's legal to have this plant and illegal to have that one, they say we need to listen to that. And actually, I've been sort of having a WhatsApp with a friend, old Peter, who's telling me that, you're gonna go to hell because you smoke pot. Now wait a minute. So first of all, Yeshua, Jesus, one of the only things he did was drink wine at communion. That was like the one thing he passed down as a ritual that we know of in the Bible, was communion, which is with wine. You're going to get a buzz with wine sometimes, I think. Maybe. I don't know. But prohibition was illegal, so I bet you during the prohibition of alcohol, that was illegal. So I bet you there was Christians who said, you're going to go to hell if you drink wine, right? Why not? Because that committee of people said that arbitrarily that alcohol is now illegal, right? So you're going to go to hell if you drink wine on Sunday. I mean, now, by the way, what is communion? What is communion? What is that? What is that wine? Well, you've got a body that was created by the Most High, creator of all things, and you have a grapevine with a natural process of fermentation, also created and stoked and breathed life into by the Most High, creator of all things. And within our bodies, we have receptors for that naturally. So it's hardwired into us to catch that buzz, if you will. And that buzz is, if anything, it's a momentary release from the often arduous and repetitive and sometimes mundane world that this meat grinder that we know called life, right? I mean, it's not all beds of roses sometimes. I mean, life can really fucking suck. Life can rip. Life can fucking rip. But life can fucking suck too. And sometimes, who's to say? So Yeshua said it was cool to drink wine. I don't know if there was pot around back then. I mean, I bet you the ancient Chinese knew some secrets. Maybe, I don't know. But I'd be willing to bet Yeshua would be cool with a joint. I mean, I don't know, man. I think he would. But to say that someone's going to hell for partaking of a plant, say pot, that grows green from the ground, gives seed of its own kind, and we have receptors for THC in our bodies, I'm pretty sure that not only would Yeshua, Jesus, be cool with it, but I would bet that the Most High Creator actually intended that as a communion. Because, see, in my estimation, spirit realm, or we'll say spirit realm, is the truth, and physical realm is the deception or the prison for the spirit. That's where I'm at. So anyone that says to me, you're going to go to hell for smoking pot, that's fucking ridiculous, man. That's like, does not compute. So if prohibition creates poverty and prohibition creates crime and religion promotes prohibition, then religion thus sort of by side, like in a sideways way, promotes poverty and crime. And yet in a lot of ways, religions, and not all religions, but a lot of religions take in money and pretend to fight poverty while on the back end promoting prohibition and thus promoting poverty. So like, what a bizarre sort of figure eight of bullshit is that? And like, let's make a distinction here between religion and spirituality and my brother, Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ. I mean, look, there's a big difference. And in fact, I would say Yeshua would agree with that. And I'm not trying to get off in those weeds, but man, oh, Peter, what the fuck are you talking about, man? That's crazy. Your position is crazy, dude. And that's no one in the comments. I'm talking to old Peter, if he ever even watches this, man. In my opinion, you're not going to hell if you use drugs. Period. You're not going to hell for using drugs. In my opinion. If that's the case, then I'll go to hell. Fine, I'll go to hell. But I don't think so, man. I think that position is a product of the mind control that we've been under our whole lives in this modern society that's absolutely and unequivocally fucked, right? Now, I will say that if you let a drug become your master, so let's say you rob and cheat and steal for that drug, then you're going to have problems come down the pipeline, also known as karmic justice. Karma is a real thing, man. That's a real thing. Energy is balance, man. All energy is balance, and therefore this physical plane, which is really just a matrix for the spiritual plane, is, if nothing else, is balance. Yo, what's up, Fez? Yeah, I can't read that much. I'm sorry. If you let it become your master, then you're like rob, cheat, and steal. Now, I'll say this, and I'm not the pious type, and I'm not sort of tooting my own horn or anything, but I've personally never done anything that I regret. Like, I've never hurt, lied, cheated. I stole one time, and I almost got caught, and I never did it again. But I've never stolen, lied, cheated, robbed friends for drugs. Never done it. Never done anything I regret for drugs. So my conscience is clear there. But I know some straight motherfuckers that have gotten me so many times. I just, like, you can't let that get to you though, man. Like, man, people do me wrong all the time. I'm not gonna lie. Have I ever begged for money for drugs? No, never have. My brother? Okay. Well, I hope you know my brother very well, because my brother is a psychopath for sure. Let me get to this next page. So, just moving on from that spirit of things, man, what I do know is whether or not you do drugs, if you stand up for what you know to be right in spite of negative consequences, the Most High Creator will bless you and watch out for you. But you have to do that. So like, if you were to lay down your life for another, that's high blessings from the Most High, man. And that's, yeah, I know. I know my brother too. I love my brother, man, but he's a motherfucker. He's a psychopath. That motherfucker, I don't, fuck my brother, dude. Like, that motherfucker owes me, and he knows it, man. And whatever, dude. But I'm not talking about my brother. I'm sorry to get sidetracked on the comments there, but how do I know that God is a male? I never said God was a male. I said the Most High Creator of all things. If I referred to the Creator as a he, I'm sorry. The spirit doesn't have male or female. Spirit is not concerned with sex. Sex is a construct of the physical matrix, which is prison for spirit. So that, as far as, in my opinion, as far as I know, that type of shit doesn't exist in spirit. It's way beyond that. Way beyond that. Yeah, if you lay down your life for another, if you stand up for what you know to be right, in spite of negative repercussions that you know are coming for standing up for what you know to be right, the Most High will bless you. And that's a promise. That's from Yeshua. Yeshua never lied. Never. His promises and prophecies come to pass because he was the son of the Most High. By the way, we're all sons and daughters of the Most High too. You think God didn't create you? You think God didn't create me? God created everything. Of course we're all sons and daughters of the Most High. Anyone who says otherwise has their head up their ass, in my opinion, and we can argue about it. I'll argue about that, sure. Yeah, they do. They say that. Sorry, I'm half reading and responding to comments as they come in, and I know that's not helpful because y'all are like a good 30 seconds behind me, so whatever, I'll stop that. And again, these aren't my claims. These are claims of Yeshua. So don't listen to me. Go read your Bible. There's, a lot of people think I'm anti-Bible because I'm per se anti-religion. I'm not even anti-Bible. I think the Bible's a beautiful book. I read it daily. And when I'm in jail, I read it aloud daily because there's great stuff in there. And by the way, if I could ever get a Quran in jail, I would read that too, because that one's beautiful too. And if you hate me for that, then fuck you. Yeah, that's pretty much hits everything I want to talk about. There's the last few things I'll run through quickly. Don't judge without all the facts. I mean, I know y'all, all 33 of you guys that are on this live stream, 32, know that. Don't judge things without all the facts. Don't be ignorant, man. Hey, what's up, effed up world? What's up, brother? 100, man. Endemic Bird Expert, Costa Rica. Your flat earth videos are amazing. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. One love. Don't judge without all the facts. Listen to your intuition, though. I mean, I'm not saying don't follow your intuition. Your intuition has gotten you this far. That's a lot of times intuition's all we got sometimes, right? But don't judge without all the facts too. And we touched on communion too. So that wraps this one up at 45 minutes. Sorry for ruining the number 33 party. Yeah, I know, right? But hey guys, we are still in Hotel Trap. We're hoping to get out of it soon. I'm still trying to get my third loan from PayPal Working Capital. They're still dragging their ass. I don't know. We have some money coming on the 1st of next month, but we are still very much in Hotel Trap, which is a very real thing, even for sober, decent people, which I know some of them. I'm sober. I mean, I don't consider smoking a roach in the morning for wake and bake even high, dude. Like, that's just buzz. That's just, you got to have morning buzz. Dude, if it wasn't for buzz in the morning, if that was illegal, or if that was unattainable, rather, because what does illegal do anyway? Fuck that committee, right? I'd fucking kill myself, man. So, like, if y'all want me around, you're gonna have to put up with the gangster rap and the peppermint schnapps, dude. All right. That reminds me, I wrote some verses. I got one I'm working on. I'll read it for you guys if you want to. Just let me see some yeses in the comments if you want to hear me read some verses before we go. By the way, it's paypal.me, the Morgile, patreon.com/the Morgile, venmo.com/the Morgile, and cash.app, $the Morgile. Please don't. Yeah, okay, so I got 2 yeses and a please don't. Fuck yeah, I'm doing it, dude. All right. Is it, can y'all hear me good? I reckon you could, or you would all be complaining like the bunch of lovely people that you are. Okay. Yeah, okay, so I'm pretty sure I read that one somewhere. Okay, so this is what I'm working on. It's not that much. Yeah, loan should come in if I've got a good credit score. No, my credit score sucks, but I've already had 2 working capital loans through my PayPal business account that I've paid off in full. The first one was for $5,500. The second one was for $3,500 because they wouldn't do $5,500 again and raise the rate. And now for the third one, nothing burger, right? What the fuck is that? Well, see, people don't make that decision. The computer does, and the people can't explain it, but it's a sales thing. The computer doesn't know what I'm doing because I was in jail for about 2 months, more or less, 2 months. So the computer's trying to figure out, like, well, what happened to my business? Well, why can't a person just let it go? I get a Patreon check, M Stone, but I have to upload upload YouTube videos to Patreon in order for that to work. And I can't be in jail and do that. So I haven't had a Patreon check in like 2 months, which is not much. See, Patreon thing, I get like $100 a month from Patreon, and I get like 100 every 3 months from AdSense is what it usually is. I'm not getting I didn't get a Patreon this month, and I'm not getting AdSense because I'm like $1 short on the $100 threshold to get paid through AdSense. So, bro, but we do have, like, I will have some money coming the first, and then see, Mina's check has been cut. She gets SSI now. Her check has been cut down to like less than $200 a month for the past. She doesn't like me telling this online, but they cut her check down from like $800 a month down to like $200 a month for the last 5 months. So we have been struggling, dude. It's been rough. Anyway. No, I don't get 800 of it. See, Patreon, the way Patreon displays that, if every single one of my patrons that ever signed up for Patreon was still contributing through Patreon, I would be getting 800. I would be. But 90% of them have fallen off. I've got 18 patrons. It's like $100 a month, whether I do 1 video or whether I do 5. And so if I miss 2 months and then upload all that content to Patreon, it's still about $100 for that month. So yeah, no, the woman who says I get 900 a vid doesn't know what she's talking about. I'm telling you, I'll show you my Patreon statements for the last year. It's like $100 a month, dude, if I put videos on there. I promise you, I would never lie. I can show it. I'm not going to do that, but I promise you. No, what it is, it's like 800 or something. I saw that, and Patreon needs to deal with that. Yeah, Patreon needs to deal with that, because what it is if every Patreon who ever signed up did in fact still contribute to me, I would be getting that. It went up to like, it was at 500 at one point, but then something happened where everybody fell off. So whatever. I mean, but it, it is what it is. All right, here we go. I'm going to read this verse and then I'm going to peace out. But again, it's Patreon. Yes, patreon.com/themorgal. You can do it that way. It's a monthly thing, but I won't see anything until after the 1st. If you go through Google, I won't see anything till like the 23rd of next month if I hit the threshold, and Google takes 30% of your contribution through like the Google Tips or whatever that thing is. So, I mean, wow. But it's PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, the Morgile. We need help, dude. We actually have a free night because through at Red Roof Inn, it's Wyndham Rewards, and every so often you get a free night. So tonight, we got a free night. It took us like 3 weeks to earn it or whatever, but we got it. So we're good for tonight. After that, I don't know, bro. Like, we are either in the car or here if we can swing it. It's rough, man. Well, I'm in bed reading books because I have a fractured fucking heel, you dick. I'm sorry, I'm yelling at the comments. But yeah, I have a fractured heel. I can get around on it because I have a boot, but bro. OJ McBaggins. Suck on my McBaggins. All right. Fairy tales stem from the grim truths only learned from experience and bruises, like a kick to the head from a mule with slim hooves that is furious. All authority figures can warn you not to stand directly behind that ass with no shotgun and no helmet on, with no noise when you walk up to the rear end. Ignoring such warnings can get you that ass swift kicks to the face, causing bleeding and concussions, wandering eyes, occasional tinnitus, and stitches like the tracks of mile-long trains. On top of that, adding insults to injuries, redhead Antonines will pop asses with switches that blood picked out especially for the crime of getting kicked in the head by an unwitting and oblivious donkey. Ears ring like earrings when dizziness and confusion immediately set in. Tears drop from cheek to chin, not to mention wet pants from flows of blood and some pus and some trickles of urine. This fairy tale has proper dimensions, slim hips, fat ass, all properly proportioned, with portions of potions and guarded emotions. The beginning is fucked up as an ugly duck, but probably has a happy ending. This girl gave me Infinite American Crew. That's right, Amina Pachi from Patrona Lachi fucked around and gave me unlimited little bottles of shampoo. Sometimes I even popped Chardonnay with her, or at least sometimes I even tried to offer it to her. Crazy things started to fall off her burgundy and black witch whip. It was a striped wicker broom, kind of thick in the middle too. Didn't even notice just which witch whip she showed up to the party to in, boo. I pretended to act like I don't know her, but I kind of still got love for that crazy little whore. Sure, I met her when I was on vacation, and sure, that sexy little thing got 3 kinds of an education. Eventually, at some point in time, see, I'm going to probably need something like an explanation and an apology, and going to definitely need something exactly like a PlayStation and extra lessons in her biology. We'll do that right after they finish my autopsy. 5 times I done told her logically. How am I supposed to write these rhymes with 2 towels around my full Monty naked body and a diggler that's visible from here to Tallahassee and Timbuktu? Left crazy down in Florida on a mandatory evacuation during an inflammatory vacation on felony supervised probation, and took that 92 Camry halfway across the nation for a flat earth convention in Denver and got wasted. Feeling abused and confused, I refused an observed urine examination. It's not like they put a cracker on the news for passively flunking a whiz quiz and getting a simple violation. I already registered myself as a felon for having the wrong kind of salad in pockets and half a Xanax and 5 strips of buprenorphine. Actually, it was 2 strips. I read that wrong, but 5 sounds better anyway. Yeah, they threw books at this admittedly not role model material citizen for trying to kick that brownstone dirty without medicine, without going straight to the fridge for cured ham, provolone, and cold turkey. So what if I don't have the necessary prescriptions and RXs on hand to write on me? So what if I was too drunk to walk publicly and tried to skate from Jake just 10 feet away, still shackled by feet and handcuffs still on me? So what if I downed a fifth of vodka with a Xanax pole and 3 shots of Valpo, a couple joints and a half a lobotomy? I was still at home in the yard. A little tink already convinced me to quit driving around the park in the dark, and already convinced the first blue suit to ignore my out-of-state hold in the burg that I had since like 3 years before the great American eclipse that we missed for popping badges and lips and snorting ants like an aardvark. Like all fairy tales, this story begins in a humble and adequate setting. The dumb folks got mad at the wedding. Some fumbled their balls and got wet. It's upsetting. All fairy tales fly high and protagonists wind up in jail cells for some abbreviated compressed amount of time, while heroines paint nails and grow 9 lives like 12 times, while antagonists lay snares like 5 demons behind wily hazel eyes. Sometimes the main characters always return back from graves with grave faces and 3 tickets to that gravy train to switch places. Most times the main veins bleed worse than arteries hit with artilleries, and the brain ceases to maintain optimally while running on fumes past E on auxiliary. Ate up like FedEx ate UPS, fed up like X-ray techs without a break on a double shift. Double stacks don't take but a half to blow doors off a triple lock Brinks truck with armed guards, flanked by ghillie suit snipers in the moors. Huddle back to the shack with a V-cut blue to saw logs with the woodchucks and blow snores. Bought some dank for a head change to relax and recover with the one that I adore. Trouble with that is the wax special Trouble with that is the wax special in weapons and tactics disagree with the principle that green trees grow only with God's help, which means that all nugs come from the Lord. So we made up and renewed vows on Halloween. I made up a few verses and dug graves for 4 corpses. That's all I got so far, y'all. That goes an hour. Please help if you can. PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, Patreon. One love. All right, you guys be good, and I'll see you in the next one. I got some stuff cooking, so I got some shit I got to do today. 2 or 3 THC buds is worth more than any damn poison. All right, one love, you guys. Bye.